Most people spend their entire lives following a path they were told to follow. You go to school, you get a job, you work for 40 years, hope to retire, and when you retire, you hope you're healthy and it all works out. But what if you didn't have to live like that? What if escaping the system wasn't just some fantasy, but a real financial strategy? In today's video, I'm going to break down exactly how to escape the traditional system, build real financial freedom, and create a life where you control your time. This is about understanding how the financial system works and how you can step outside of it by becoming intentional, disciplined, and strategic. If you're tired of feeling stuck, this is the video for you. Now let's start by defining what the system actually means. The system is the structure of the modern economy. Capitalism itself isn't the enemy. It rewards problem solvers, hard workers, and people that take initiative. Capitalism gives you opportunity to own assets, such as investing. You can build businesses. You basically create something from nothing. The issue is how most people participate in the system. Most people play the game as consumers instead of owners. They spend instead of investing. They trade their time for money instead of building assets that grow on their own. Once you understand how this works, the game changes completely. Escaping the system means learning the rules of capitalism and choosing to play on the winning side of it. If you're not careful, on the flip side, this system can push you towards constant consumption, debt, and dependency. It teaches you to always want more, to always upgrade, always keep up with everyone else. Escaping the system means learning the rules and choosing not to play like everyone else. The first step is breaking out of the mindset trap. Before you ever escape financially, you have to escape mentally. Financial freedom starts with rejecting the belief that you might need the newest car, the biggest house, the trendiest lifestyle. But the moment you start thinking long term, you start to break away. This is the part that most people never get through. They want freedom, but they don't want to change their habits. If you are serious about escaping, you have to accept that your path won't always look like your friends or your coworkers or even your families. If you can control your income, you can control your outcome. Most people depend entirely on one income source, usually the main 9-to-5 job, which isn't a bad thing by any means, but it just adds more financial risk. One layoff or one bad recession can completely change the financial trajectory if you're not careful. If you want to escape the system, you're going to need to diversify your income over time. Try to land a job that pays well and has a good system in place to increase your income. Maybe get into some side hustles. Have some passive income streams through investment dividends. And down the road, eventually, maybe have a rental property or two. There's a lot of great options, and the internet is full of ideas on how to add additional income streams. And the wealthiest people tend to have about 7 streams of income. Now, here's the secret. The system wants you to be dependent. Financial freedom comes with options, and options come with control. When you build multiple streams of income, you're no longer at the mercy of a single paycheck anymore. Your life becomes flexible over time. And escaping the system certainly doesn't happen overnight. It happens with a simple and consistent investing plan. You need a reliable yet boring portfolio that compounds quietly over years and years and years as you just continue to live your life. A lot of people are going to forget that this takes so much time. You are not going to get rich overnight, I can promise you that, and it's going to take years of dedicated investing. My investment portfolio is a diversified mix of broad index funds, growth ETFs, dividend ETFs, plus retirement accounts, and hopefully real estate down the road. The important part here is consistency. When you invest monthly or weekly or however frequent you invest, regardless of what the market is doing and regardless of your emotions, you're going to slowly buy your way out of the system. Every dollar that you invest is a dollar working for you instead of someone else. Over time, it's going to grow into the foundation of your financial independence. And your expenses are one of the biggest things holding you back from financial freedom later down the road. Escaping the system is less about how much you make and more about how much you keep. Even the high earners stay trapped when they inflate their lifestyle every time they get a raise. That's why your expenses are the real hindrance holding you back from financial freedom. If you can lower your fixed cost, housing, transportation, debt, you can instantly create a lot of margin for you. With less overhead, you're going to be less stressed. You're going to have more money to invest. You're going to have more capability to take risks. And a lot of people think freedom is about earning more, but most of it starts with spending less. If you can control your lifestyle, you can certainly control your path to financial freedom. You also have to escape the social pressure. This is one of the hardest parts of escaping the system, in my opinion. You'll notice something the moment you start living differently. People might question you. They'll wonder why you're not buying that new car, why you're not upgrading your house, why you're not spending on the things that they think might matter. But that's the point. Escaping the system means you're no longer guided by the opinions of others. You're playing a much different game. You're building financial freedom, you're not flexing. Social pressure can be really powerful, but once you detach from it, your financial growth is going to accelerate like crazy. You're going to become pretty much untouchable. So all this financial freedom talk is great, but it's not going to be achievable until you determine what your financial number looks like for you. Everyone's going to need a target. I'm going to call this your financial freedom number. And this is pretty much the amount of money in either passive income or saved investments that you need to cover basic living expenses. You need to figure out how much money you'll need in the future and when you want to retire to live off of, then build your investment portfolio that'll eventually end up paying you that amount that's separate from your 9 to 5. Then the choice is yours. For some people, they might need to live off $5,000 a month. Let's just use that as an example. Once your investments and savings produce enough to cover this $5,000 a month essential, you're officially out of the system. You no longer have to depend on your main source of income for survival. You can work because you want to at this point, and that's the key, not because you have to. I would recommend looking up the 4% rule, which is a standard metric for determining how much you need to retire. That means you could sell 4% of your investment portfolio each year for the next 30 years and not run out of money. There's calculators here that you can mess with online that I would recommend going to check out. And I want to make this very clear. Escaping the system does not mean quitting your job tomorrow. Your job is actually going to be the biggest booster to jumpstart your wealth building journey. It's a mindset that starts now and asking yourself if you want to be financially free later in life. The reality is most people won't put in that work now. Most people will wait till later in life to decide that they don't want to work anymore. But the problem becomes those people won't have a choice because they pushed off investing, they pushed off saving, and they weren't intentional with their money when it mattered. It's easy to watch these types of videos about financial freedom, but it's much harder to actually put a plan together and execute. Financial freedom requires having a mindset of delayed gratification, and that's going to require being different. But the people who do escape, they live a completely different life. Those are the people that are going to retire early, they could work less, they could travel, they're going to get that extra time back to spend with their family. So to summarize everything, escaping the system doesn't happen in a single moment, and it certainly doesn't happen overnight. It happens gradually through habits, choices, and financial discipline. And that is really when you've truly escaped. Not because you ran away or did something crazy, but because you outgrew the system entirely and you were intentional with your savings and investments. If you're ready to start the journey towards financial independence, subscribe here and tune in for more videos. I'll be posting about 2 personal finance videos a week covering various topics. So if you have any video ideas that you'd like to see, leave a comment down below. I'll see you guys in the next one.